Well, now for a closer look at the Eastern Economic Forum, I want to bring in Liang. She's an economics professor at Willamette University. Good to have you with us again.
Good to talk to you, Rochelle.
So I want to first have you describe the relationship between Presidents Putin and Xi and their respective economies.
Right. So I think both leaders have become closer in their cooperations, especially in their views that this is very important to foster, regional stability and economic prosperity in challenge of, unfriendly Western pressures. And so I think in the most recent years, China and Russia have partnered in many different economic aspects, such as trade. Both countries' bilateral trade has exceeded $110 billion in 2019. And despite the COVID, last year, the bilateral trade registered at $108 billion. And Russia remained to be the 13th largest foreign investment destination for China. Not to mention, in recent years, both countries have also deepened energy cooperation. China has signed a deal with Russia, which is worth $400 billion and with 30 years of lifetime to transport natural gas from Russia to China. So I think both countries have seen the importance of established economic cooperation and collaboration.
And we also heard that President Xi suggested continued cooperation between Russia and China on the pandemic response. How do you see these two countries working together on that front?
Right. So President Xi has emphasized a few things about the pandemic challenges. For one, of course, is joint, research and development in vaccines and also in distribution vaccines. And they have also talked about reject politicization of, origin tracing and also politicizing vaccines. So I think in many different ways, I think the two countries are seeing that the pandemic posed not only health crises, but also economic challenges. So I think the collaborations and cooperations will take place in many different areas and shapes.
So to that point then, in terms of discussing the need for further economic collaboration, what are some of the ways that China's Belt and Road can complement the Eurasian Economic Union and vice versa?
Right, exactly. So, Russia is not part of the formal participant of the BRI, and yet I think Russia is a very important player in the BRI. So, for example, many of the BRI projects to connect Asia and Europe, including the high-speed railroads and also the roadways that connect Tokyo with London, I think all of these would have to have Russia's participation in it. And I think Russia's attitudes towards the BRI has also changed over time. I think it has become more and more friendly towards the BRI projects, and Russia is also welcoming China's, investments. Like I said before, that China has invested increasingly in Russia, and especially in energy, in agriculture, in manufacturing and technology. Both countries have a lot to work together. And I think, Russia also sees the importance of building infrastructure and connectivity within Central Asia and Eurasia in general. So I definitely think that two countries can work together in a very cooperative way to, cooperate between BRI projects and the Eurasian Economic Union.
And what were some of the other takeaways, not just from President Xi's address, but other leaders at the Eastern Economic Forum?
Right. So I think the spirit of the conference so far is collaboration. It's to ensure regional stability. I think, with the COVID and also with the U.S.'s complete military withdrawal from Afghanistan, I think it's more than ever that these countries' leaders, 60 of them, 60 countries, are seeing the importance of work together to ensure regional stability and security and prosperity. So I think there are a lot of different projects that are going on, for example, India and Japan, Russia and China, for instance. So I think it would be a fruitful platform for these countries to come together and talk about economic partnerships.
And just very quickly then, in terms of the key external shocks and global challenges that you think could create the most headwinds for the region as they cooperate more closely, what stands out to you?
Right. So I think first of all, of course, is the pandemic. The Delta variant is still rampaging. So many of these countries are recovered by the virus. And so I think that would be one of the headwinds. And others would be logistic challenges, global supply chain challenges, and going forward, climate change and energy challenges.
Always great to have you on. Liang there, Professor of Economics at Willamette University.